right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the CXOJ Podcast. What up, Clo Diz?
What's up?
So we have a fun topic today because it's the holiday season, so we thought it would be appropriate to talk about some dating topics involving the holidays, such as when is it the right time to invite that special someone over to enjoy the holidays with your family? Because that's a complex question. That's very dicey there, because you think you might be doing the right thing, making the right decision by inviting them or not inviting them. You don't want to invite them too soon, especially if it's just a casual thing, because that'll be kind of odd, because all your family members will be asking, oh, what happened to what's his name?
So the question is, how soon is too soon?
Exactly. When is the right time?
Or when is the right time? All right. So I can answer the what time is too soon, right? Too soon is if there's no titles. Unless you guys are friends, and it's like you've already been friends. Like the family knows the person already. That's a different situation. But if it's like you just meet somebody, y'all start talking, y'all might have hooked up already, but he did not put a title on it, do not bring him over on Thanksgiving, on a major holiday, or Christmas, or maybe New Year's. But definitely not Christmas, and definitely not Thanksgiving. If you have a family that gets together on those dates.
That's very interesting, because I was curious to see what you were going to say as a lady, but as a guy, I know for me, as guys, we already know if you're serious with the girl or not. So it's not even a question of if you're going to extend the invitation. Probably not. Usually, you're only going to extend that invitation if it's serious, and let's say serious on the pathway to marriage. That's really the only time that a girl's going to get an invitation. Number one. Number two, you're not going to accept an invitation from a girl, especially if it's not that serious either. So it's kind of like if a girl is asking you that, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Read the room, Yo Grace.
Well, I'm going to say, I think your scenario is what happens, the ideal situation. But let's be real. It's some people out here who just want a meal, and guys, girls, whatever, and they just, will come to your house to eat. Like guys, you don't know anybody allegedly who would invite any random woman to Thanksgiving?
Me personally, no. Does that happen? I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. I'm sure if we put it in a group chat, somebody will say, yeah, I bought a girl Thanksgiving one time. It was a big mistake.
I don't know. I'm very protective when it comes to my family, especially my parents. So it's going to be very odd. And to your original point about inviting a friend, the only friends that I would invite would be, same sex, same gender. So one of the times my boy Carlos, shout out to Carlitos, his family went to, I think, either New York or DR or Puerto Rico for Thanksgiving, and he had nowhere to go. So he's a petty alum. Shout out to the petty alum out there. And I was like, yeah, but Carlos come over for Thanksgiving, and that was great. But if it would have been a female, that would have been different. Because again, I know how my family is, especially as a man, right? If you bring over any woman, regardless if they're friends or legitimately friends, right? You're always going to get the question, oh, where are they at? I know Chloe doesn't like to hear this, but I still get questions about other people I brought around my family to this day. Like, oh, what happened to so-and-so? So with that in mind, I would never, ever think about that. That's just me.
See, and I don't know if this is a male perspective or a female perspective, but like I would totally invite friends over for Thanksgiving. That's a guy. I've had guy friends over for Thanksgiving. But it was always because they weren't, it wasn't like their first time coming around. My family knew them as like friends of the family. So I don't know if that's a girl thing versus a guy thing, but it also depends on, I guess, the dynamics in your family. So it's like, I don't know. I think it just depends. Like if your family is a very open family, I guess. And they don't really think about, oh, is this person serious that they're like, one thing you mentioned, you said you were very protective over your parents. I don't think everyone has that perspective. So like maybe a family, like there's some families that allow people to just, like I've been to people's households where they're just so welcoming. Like, oh, you can go in my fridge. I don't care. Like I think different families have different boundaries. But if we're talking about, if you're in the age of like dating someone, I'm looking at this question from like a perspective of you're talking to somebody, right? I'm not looking at it as just like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, you know, your friend's family's out of town, they're coming over. That could be really just a friend happening. And you can say that like, oh, her family's out of town, she's coming over, whatever. That can happen. That's a real life situation. But I'm talking about, or how I interpreted the question was, if you're dating someone or talking to someone, how soon? It's too soon.
Now, to your original point, which I agree with, when you have the titles, now let's say you do have the titles, but you don't go to each other's house during the holidays.
That's a problem. That's a big problem. Unless there's some like deeper dynamic to the family. Like if he doesn't mess with his family at all, but not if you talking to your family every day. You calling your mom every day on the phone and she's having Thanksgiving, but she don't bring me over. Yeah, right. Ladies, that's a red flag. Run. He hiding a whole nother family.
Again, maybe, but I don't necessarily agree, only because I'm talking from the guy perspective, right? So let's just say you're Rodney's age. Shout out to Rodney. You're Rodney's age or younger, in that college age range of, let's say, 18 to 25. Mm-hmm. Typically, now there are some rare cases, right? Typically, if you do have a significant other with the titles, you're probably not going to marry them. It might feel serious in the moment, but long term, and again, we're talking about the modern age, right? And we're not talking about back in the 50s, back in the 60s, right? We're talking about in modern times. Typically, you're not really going to last, so it really doesn't make any sense to do that, in my opinion.
You know, I agree 1,000% because, you know, these are things that we didn't learn when we were younger. And when you're young, you think every relationship you in is going to be forever, right? You're not looking at it like, oh man, we're going to break up in a couple years. So one tip I do have for y'all is if you take pictures, I saw this meme online. It was like, if your significant other and you're not married comes over for like a holiday and you guys are taking group pictures, put them at the edge of the photo. Make sure they're standing at the edge of the photo. So if things go left, like Josh said, you know, you younger, you can always crop them out and it's not going to ruin the picture. Like, I feel like people have made that mistake before.
By the way, people as in mostly ladies.
Yeah, women. I will say I made that mistake in the past, like obviously. But, you know, one good tip that I should have remembered was put him on the edge.
You know what? As a guy, I'm gonna just surpass all that. I'm just gonna cut through it like a steak knife through melted butter.
Okay.
And just go very direct. And I'm speaking specifically to the ladies because guys don't really do this. Ladies, you need help vetting the men that you're with. That might be a hard pill to swallow, but it's the reality. Typically, in modern times, ladies do not select long-term mates logically, right? So it would be better to bring your significant other that you might be serious about around your male family, cousins, uncles, you know, dads, things like that. And then the man will be able to vet and he'll be able to size up the guy like, oh, he's just hanging and banging. He's not really taking you serious. Oh, this guy has something about him, you know, stick with him type of thing.
See, I feel like what you're saying in theory would work, but in practice, the vetting needs to happen before the man and the woman even meet, honestly. Because once a man puts that spell on you,
puts that thing down.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing anybody could say. Jesus could come down from heaven and say, you shall not be with this man. And the girl gonna be like, What you say? I ain't hear that.
Jesus, please.
I ain't hear that. You know, so it's like the vetting doesn't happen at Thanksgiving. The vetting happens before women even meet the man, because men have a special gift
called Thor's hammer.
Men have a special gift. And a lot of times women don't care. Like, women will do anything for that gift sometimes. And, you know, it's a little too late if you bring him to Thanksgiving, because then it's like, you bring him to Thanksgiving, he hasn't even told you y'all are an item. For what? What are you bringing him to Thanksgiving for? Like, especially if this is somebody that you want to get serious with. No. And if he doesn't invite you to Thanksgiving, and this is just what I would assume, this is a red flag for me. Nope. On to the next one. You're wasting my time, buddy. And then, or it just tells me what category you have me in. So then I play that accordingly, right? Which can mean we don't speak anymore. Hey, you made your choice. We're grown. I think transparency is important. And the thing about it is, women, we like words. So a man could do some crazy stuff with his actions and then say some voodoo with his words. And you be like, oh, but he said he loved me.
It's not really voodoo. You're just hearing with your emotions. It's not voodoo.
Anyway, he do some magical talking. And then we just forgive all the actions. No, ladies, look at the actions. And the action of him not inviting you to Thanksgiving or Christmas speaks volumes.
It depends what stage you are. Even if you are in the title, if you just made someone your girlfriend, right? Let's say you're over the age of 25. If you just made someone your girlfriend and you've been together for, let's say, 1 to 3 months, in my opinion, I think that's still too soon for holidays. In my opinion,
I disagree. You know why? Because you knew who I was when you asked me to be a girlfriend. When you told me to be, not me, but in this scenario, if a man allegedly, hypothetically, was like, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend? We're going to be serious. We're going to be monogamous together. If I'm making that commitment, you invited me to Thanksgiving.
I think Clo has listened to One Too Many Drake or NSYNC and Nelly songs.
No. It's the facts. And if he doesn't invite you to Thanksgiving, he don't want you that bad. So peace out.
Nah. Again, between the ages of, let's say, 25 and 30, you really, and nowadays you don't know, because I'll speak for the fellas. Typically, a lady's crazy doesn't really come out until you have more time together.
I thought it was after you perform coitus.
That too, but some are chameleons. Some are chameleonaires, right? So
girls be wilding. They do be wilding, and it's a risk that you take. But that's a risk you take. You know, it's a risk. That's why you have to properly vet a woman before you ask her to be your girlfriend. So the thing is, right? It goes back to the foundation. If you've spent time with this person, you've seen them interact in different environments, you've seen them, then you decide to make it official. But you know, a lot of times people just jump into stuff like, oh, I like you, you like me, let's be together. And then the crazy comes out. But that's because you didn't do your due diligence before you asked this person out.
So I'm gonna again go straight to the point here. So I think when we were growing up, let's say high school, college, because at the time there weren't really terms like friends with benefits at the time. So the only relationship status that we understood was boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
Because that signified that you were exclusive.
Yes.
And then as time went on, terms like exclusive, situationships, and all these other, let's say, toxic terminology.
Nuanced words.
Absolutely. So even, let's say at the time, this is why I'm saying it might be too soon, because for a guy, let's just say you're a guy who doesn't get chicks. It happens, right? That's the majority of men don't get a lot of chicks.
Yes.
So if you have the opportunity to have a girl be your girlfriend and agree to be your girlfriend enthusiastically, you're probably over the moon.
Yes.
However, you don't understand what that actually means because you've never been in that situation.
I think we're looking from a glass half empty instead of a glass half full. So it goes back to understanding why you want the person to be your girlfriend. Because it's no way. I cannot see any scenario where I'm your girlfriend and I don't come to Thanksgiving.
I can see plenty of scenarios.
But see, they wouldn't work for me. I would just be like, eh. Especially if we only a month in. I'm like, oh, that's the red flag. He don't want me to meet his parents. I need to meet family. Especially if you're dating intentionally. Like, I'm not going to give up my freedom, sacrifice my time for me not to be invited to Thanksgiving or Christmas. It just ain't happening.
But again, to your point, Chloe, I feel like that's a sign of moving too quickly. Personally.
What do you mean?
All right, so if you're a month in and they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and you're meeting the parents, as a guy, you don't know you don't want to marry her yet. Let's be honest. I'm gonna be honest. You don't know you want to marry her yet. This is a probationary period. When you're in the first initial stages of boyfriend and girlfriend, that is a probationary period to see if this chick crazy or not. If she's as cool as she claims, or is it a facade and she's a chameleonaire?
Okay, so what's the age? I mean, what's the time in your
There's no like set time, right? Because it has to go with, you know, the vibe and the feeling and all those other terms, right? And it's the truth. You have to get the feel of the person, because you're really not going to know the person unless you're in different situations. Mm-hmm. People respond differently with different stimuli. You could be in a crisis situation, and then she can like excel in that moment. You could be in a situation, you know, sometimes for guys, you'll be in a situation with a lady who this is, let's say, overreacts in a situation that doesn't require it. It's a disproportionate response. So you can be, this actually happened to me when I was living in Miami. I was, let's say someone had come over, right? Uh-huh. And then the deed was done. And then as they were leaving, I lived in a place, shout out to Axis in Brickell. I lived in a condo in Miami, and we had valet. She valeted her car to come over. And then when she was leaving, she got all snippety with the valet, who was like being very kind. And I knew the dude, he was cool as hell. So it's kind of like, if you're not in those certain situations, you don't get to see all those sides of her. So as a guy, until you see those sides, to be like, okay, because to a degree, I would say most women are crazy, right?
No, we not. We normal.
Oh no, y'all look crazy.
First of all, if you want to make sure she crazy, you should have tested her. Common sense.
First of all, ladies test, men do not.
Yeah, whatever. Good, and that's why I bring her to Thanksgiving. That's the real test. That's the real test.
Nah, son, we ain't doing that.
I went to Thanksgiving early.
Who?
Me.
With who?
You.
No, you didn't.
How many months we was talking?
Yeah, how many months? Do the math. I already did the math before we even talked about this. I want to see Chloe do the math.
All right, hey y'all. So we've been talking about when is it appropriate time to bring your new boo to a holiday gathering. So I don't know about y'all, but my family is very close-knit, and my family keeps it real. Like, if I bring somebody around and they're just not the vibe, they're gonna be like, but they will also ask, like, what is this vibe? Like, is this a friend? Is this a significant other? Is this a person you want to get married to? Or is this, like, you know, just a little short-term thing, fling? So we're very transparent about that. So depending on that response, I think I would solicit a different response to bringing somebody to a potential person to Thanksgiving. Have I done it? Not really, no. I would never bring somebody I'm just talking to dinner on Thanksgiving. It's just not going to happen. But, you know, like, Josh, you were alluding to, you got to test them to see if they're, like, worthy of being in a relationship. Or do you test them before they get to your family's house?
I mean, like I said, men don't test, they just observe. So it's not testing. It's just you have to be put in different scenarios in order to see how you naturally respond. And you can't, manufacture that test. Life will do that. So that's why, if a guy makes you his girlfriend within, in a month, like I said, that range between a month and 3 months, you still don't know enough about her for you to even be doing that, from my perspective.
Wait a second. So you're saying if you just met and you're only 3 months in, so you met her and then y'all was in a relationship day 2?
No, I'm saying like a month after knowing each other and their boyfriend, girlfriend, like how we were saying before, where if you're, let's say, under the age of 25, you have a conception of what, let's say, dating would be like. So basically the only title you really know is boyfriend, girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Besides, the modern terms like situationships and friends with benefits, things like that.
So for me, I think, and it's just my personal opinion, situationships, anything fill in a blank above that is not a mutual commitment to monogamy, and because I've heard of people having commitments to monogamy, but they're not in a relationship. Weird. We have so many different nuanced things, labels for things, but unless you are both monogamous and in a committed relationship and you guys both have the conversation, they should not be at your house around your family. Like, it needs to be both, not either or. Like, it has to be both. It has to be like, hey, we're in this together on our way to marriage. Because at that point, he already looking at you like, okay, she has potential. All right, let me bring her over. Or you could bring him over to your family. But if it's just on some like, you like him, y'all been messing around, he never really said anything like, oh, I want you to be my girlfriend. Girl, bye. He does not need to be at your dinner with your family because he might not be there next day. And you do not need to be at his family house because you don't know if you're going to be there next day. You don't know. So is it worth it?
So the moral of the story, ladies, have your male relatives vet your options, because as Chloe's alluding to, there are some situationships. And typically in those situationships, there's one party who believes they're in a deeper committed relationship than the other, which is why you should have your male relatives vet your I guess your potential significant other.
Yes.
And guys, keep using your logic and gut instincts, and you only bring around chicks who when you're on that path to marriage. That's the only, from my perspective, that's the only time you do that.
I think that's a good perspective. I agree with that perspective. I also believe that there's a time and place for everything. And do you really want somebody to embarrass you in front of your family? Number one. Do you really want your family to embarrass you in front of your potential significant other before it gets serious? Like, let's be real. Some of our families are messy, okay? And if you got a guy that you're really feeling and you bring him around too early and he doesn't have the context to your messy family, it can ruin things for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everything needs to happen right away. Like, you need to frame things accordingly, thinking about all the factors. Be a macro thinker, think big picture, not small picture. Like, do some of us wish that people weren't invited to Thanksgiving? Yes. In hindsight, of course, that's the thing. So to avoid that in the future, be intentional about who you allow to be around your family. Like, I like what you said about how you're very protective over like who's in your space or your parents' space. Like, that's important. I think that takes intentionality, which causes you to analyze further if these people are worthy, or this person is worthy to be graced with your family's presence. But a lot of times, we just be let anybody come to dinner. Like, you can't let certain people come to a cookout either, You gotta vet those people too.
Speaking of, we recently watched Entergalactic by Kid Cudi. That was a magnificent film, animation, story. That was fantastic. What did you enjoy the most about it, Chloe?
I'm enjoying the fact that you said it was spectacular and amazing. Because when we were watching it, he was like, "Oh man, oh me, oh," and I was like,
I mean, if you're gonna do that, at least do it with context.
"Of course, I'm getting to the context." He was like, "Man, that wouldn't happen in real life," and I was like, "I don't care what happens in real life. It's so romantic."
Kid Cudi knows what he's doing. Keep it up, kid.
It was such a romantic movie. Like, oh my God. It was just such a romantic, realistic, relatable. It was realistic, y'all. I enjoyed that movie. Like, I am a rom-com person. Josh, you haven't seen that side of me because we watch.
And I've been very intentional about that as well.
We watch so many Avengers and so many action and stuff. I am like a romance comedy person. Like, I love romance. I'm a Pisces at heart. I love being swept off my feet. Like, even our first date was so romantic.
And it wasn't a date.
I'm not even talking about that. See, look at you. Look at you and look at you. We were at a wedding for our first date, and that was romantic too. So our first encounter was romantic, and our first date was romantic.
Were you in the friend zone?
I wasn't in the friend zone at the wedding.
Well, you were still there.
Yeah, whatever. And then I wasn't. Okay. See what I did there? But like I said, romance, it was so touching. Like, my heart melted. I was like,
oh my goodness, oh boy.
It's like a modern day romance. Like, it's like a Disney fairy tale, but throw some illicit drugs in there. Some curse words and like black people and sneakers and New York City. And it was just like, so relatable.
Even the less intelligent decisions by the main female character.
She did not make any less intelligent decisions.
You are so dumb. You are
That's
really
what
dumb.
I was thinking, y'all. I was saying that out loud.
And I was like, what do you mean? Like, she was in context clues. Just like if he don't bring you to Thanksgiving and he call you his girlfriend. Context clues.
No. She got in her feelings.
Heck yeah.
And then let foolish pride take over.
Heck yeah, she got her feelings. She had every right to be.
That is stupid.
She had every right to be in her feelings. And she wasn't prideful. And she didn't act crazy. She didn't go slash his tires or anything.
Yeah.
She was just like.
Because she lived next to him.
No. She handled that very maturely and elevated because she had her sage and her marijuana.
That was before they met.
No, after she saged that apartment afterwards.
She didn't.
She had to be that calm because I wouldn't have been that calm.
You tell it on yourself now because she was too busy preparing for her show because she's a photographer. So this is what happens when they have these Harry met Sally type of things. They get together, it sparks fly early. Then there's something that breaks them apart. Mm-hmm. And then they have other things in their lives that they have to do and other monumentous things.
That they wish their partner was there for because their partner was the inspiration for it. Like, they broke. Is this spoiler? Can we give a spoiler?
I mean, you see how I'm giving information without spoiling?
All right, fine. So she and he were serendipitous in their union. And then, distraction that he should have handled better, but he didn't because he still wanted to keep that door open. But he should have closed it and then he wouldn't have to deal with it. So she seen the distraction and was like, oh, 1 + 1 = 2. And then she moved accordingly and she had to process. She had to process what was going on. Did she inquire? No, because before she inquired, she was smart enough to process. So she did not go and slash his tires. Because that's what would happen if she was emotional and actually took action with that instead of processing, which was why the sage was involved, which is why the marijuana was involved, which is why she dove into her work, okay, which happened to be about him. So that was hard as well, you know?
You are really dumb, for real.
That was my thoughts about her response.
Why was it dumb?
Well, again, without spoiling it, if you're an adult and you choose, because it is a choice, we're not robots who are programmed to do things. Mm-hmm. We actually are capable of intelligent and critical thinking. So if you're capable of conscious thought, then it might behoove one adult who is emotionally mature, which is what you're alluding to, to first get the context without having an emotional reaction. Now, I agree with you in terms of the first emotional reaction, because you are human, that was fair.
Okay.
But you didn't even stay around for the context.
Who gonna stay around when they're processing their feelings? Like, okay, for instance, something bad happens and you don't have time to process your feelings and your emotions.
But you do have time.
You don't have time because
you do. Let's keep it to Intergalactic.
Let me say, in Intergalactic, she took the time she needed to process her emotions before he came to her and explained it. Now, if he would have explained it, and that's why he gave her space, because he knew that he hurt her.
No, he gave her space because he had other things to do.
You missed the whole part. It went right over your head.
Next.
It went right over your head. He gave her space because he knew he was in the wrong. He shouldn't have even been over there. He should not have even been over there. Even if it was innocent, it really wasn't that innocent. Like, come on now. We grown. Secondly, sounds good, but deal with the consequences that brings.
Nah, it definitely did.
He could have avoided the whole situation if he said, "Hey, yo, my friend over here called me, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go handle this real quick." Transparency. But why wasn't he being transparent?
Because it wasn't worth mentioning.
Yeah, I bet it was worth mentioning because it could have ruined everything.
Okay, because we see how Clo is also, for whatever reason, in her feelings as well. Because if you look at the situation, and I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, you have the dramatic irony, right? So, sure, he went over there, and you could say yes or no, that's bad or not.
I didn't say it's bad.
No, you said he shouldn't have been there. So you're saying it's bad.
He should have said that he was going there.
But again, that is a female perspective.
Yep.
Because it's not worth mentioning as a guy.
Wait, so you would go over a woman's house and not mention it?
If it's in that situation as Intergalactic, so you've only been together for a month, right? That's number one.
And technically, I don't think they were in a real relationship.
That too.
They weren't in a relationship. They were just talking, and he was feeling her, and she was feeling him.
And they were neighbors.
They were neighbors, and they weren't in an official relationship. But I can see.
There you go.
I can see how that could be like, dang. I guess all men are the same. That's the perspective she had.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Until he said to her, "Hey, blah, 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 blah." And then she was like, "All right, I feel you." But she needed time to be less emotional to hear the explanation.
Again, if it was that serious,
it wasn't.
That she would have to worry about, then he would have said something. But
wait, explain that.
All right, so he went over there to his ex's place, right? Mm-hmm. He went over to his ex's place, and it wasn't for anything extracurricular.
Nope.
Was it?
Nope. But you see? But people lie about that stuff.
Fake ass Mariah Carey.
People be lying. So like she found information. She saw information without context and was like, oh, all right. Like,
So if you pick up someone's phone and it has a message to the other person, you don't have the context. It's impossible.
So what, you gonna wait for him
Especially-
to lie to you?
Especially, you see?
You gonna wait for him to
You
lie?
you see? You
and
s-
be like,
you
she
see-
wearing your,
you
she
see
got
the-
your whole, she got your Josh your Manchester United jersey
you
on.
see?
Yeah, right.
Already
Yeah,
negative. You
right.
see?
Yup, it is.
You see?
Yup.
Already activated.
Activated.
Logic out the window.
Out the window. We don't need no logic.
Which is why
Dumb. You are really dumb.
She
For
wasn't
real.
dumb because she ended up with her man at the end of the day. And he liked that. It made her want her more.
by the way, by
He was
the
like,
way,
Dag, I do miss her. I shouldn't have messed up.
by the way, he didn't mess up. He was fine. By the way, if it was that serious, then he would have definitely told her before.
What you mean?
Number one,
No.
but it wasn't.
What you mean? Say that. Explain that.
Again, I can't without spoiling it.
He would not have told her if it was that serious. Because people who lying don't tell you nothing. You just find it on their phone.
But again, if
And-
if you are perceiving reality with that negative filter, all the information that comes into your space is going to be negative, regardless if it's positive or neutral.
So listen, why? So if they explained in the show why she had that. You remember that part?
Which was
She had previous experiences
so
that were
you're
trauma.
bringing previous relationship into a current relationship. How toxic is that?
Listen,
You see?
if he would have found a picture of that white boy on her phone with his shirt off talking about, yeah, last night you left these rocks, you left these crystals over at my house. You want to come get them? First of all, he would have been like, man, this shit playing me.
Yeah. But then he would just put her into the recreational use
And
category.
that's what she did to him.
Oh no, she did full stop completely.
That's what she did to him. She was like, oh, I thought we were here, but we're not. So I'm going to back it all the way up.
But again, making those type of decisions
Yup.
without all the facts.
Yep, exactly. And she did. And I understand because
And-
I'm not being.
And this is why ladies, unfortunately, will be alone.
No,
I-
they're not going to be alone.
No. Because you could talk to Kid Cudi himself, because that's why he put it in there.
You know why they're not going to be alone? Because they're not going to be wasting their time with somebody who so you got to listen to this perspective, right? You have your manly perspective, but if you're a woman
And it was created by a man. So
and
yes.
the last person you spoke to and the other person you spoke to before that and the other person you spoke to before that has lied to you about things and you gave them the benefit of the doubt and it turns out that you was wrong, why would you trust this guy that you just started talking to?
Again,
You're going to be like, nah, I've been through this. I'm good.
if you have that level of emotional damage, then you shouldn't be in the dating market.
But that's not emotional damage.
Oh,
that's being smart.
that is emotional damage.
How's that emotional damage? Like, yo, you're negating the whole fact of what she found in the phone. Like,
What again? And reacted without context. Didn't even allow him to explain.
But what did she ask him? She said, you was over there?
Right.
And he said, yeah, I was over there, but it's not what you think.
I mean, which is true.
But dudes be lying, saying that same exact lie.
Okay.
So why
that's
would-
fair.
so-
however,
so how- Okay.
you can tell that the scene was scripted that way for that dramatic irony.
What I'm saying is,
Duh.
she was already like, I'm not trying to be dating nobody. Like, I already had bad situations. I'm working on myself. And then this guy comes out of nowhere and she and him fall in love. And she can't get him out of her head. And she like fully trusts him and opens up to him. And then she finds something that appears to be untrustworthy. So in that case, you kind of got to be like, dag, I need to go back to my therapist. Like, clearly, I'm choosing the wrong person again. So I think we're moving too fast. Let's slow this down. That's a logical thing to do. If you know that you've had past relationships that were not successful and you're still dealing with something and you're like, wait a second, this is how possibly my last relationship started and it ended very bad. Maybe I need more therapy. Maybe we need to slow this down. She didn't say, I don't ever want to see you no more, slash his tires, throw acid on his car. Like, she ain't do all of that. Now, that would be crazy. No,
both are crazy. And that's
they not the same level of crazy, though.
But that's the part that's going over your head as a lady, your grace, is that it's not a logical decision. Because, again, you're judging your past.
Why would she be logical?
You're judging your past with your present.
Why would she be logical?
Which conveys that you're not in the emotional state to be dating in the first place if you can't do that.
I think that you're...
Which is why a lot of ladies will be single for that reason. I suggest that y'all watch it.
I also think that women are not supposed to be logical. If you want to be with someone logical, be with the man. So if you know a woman's not logical, then you should be preemptive and proactive and say, hey, I'm doing this, so don't think nothing crazy of it. That would be the logical thing to do.
Again, but according to your logical, even if he told her before time, he lying anyway.
I didn't say that.
But that's the thing.
No,
I'm not. I'm saying using your logic, because again, with the negative filter. So if he tells her anyway, she can still think that anyway.
No, the reason why she thought that.
Thank you, fellas. Back me up in the comments, fellas.
If you go back to the movie, she only thought that because he did not tell her he went over there. So not only did this chick send him a picture in his hoodie, but she didn't even know he went over there. So it's like, dang, you didn't even tell me you went over there? Like, he could even told her afterwards, like, yo, I went to go help my ex and it was a big old rat. Blah, 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 blah. That junk was crazy. I might have left my sweater over there. He ain't say none of that. He pretended as if it was lying by omission. And she thought they were on a level where he was being open with her. And then she found out that not only did this woman send this picture, but he was over there. And he didn't even tell her he was over there. Like, how did you not tell her you was over there? You had a whole opportunity to tell her. You chose not to. So that's like a break in trust. So that's how I internalized it. Like, I think that you're thinking, it's not logical, because you have the irony of knowing dramatic irony of knowing what's going on. But if you're a woman or a person, not even just a woman, like, without the context, you're gonna fill in the blanks yourself. That's why I always say, I had sent something in the group chat and it was like, fellas, don't allow your woman to imagine stuff. Like, fill in the blanks for her. Because if she imagines stuff, she's going to imagine the wildest stuff ever. Like, he should have been forthcoming with her. And that's why he knew he was wrong. He like, dag, I should have just told her. Like, she was the type of open person, especially since they weren't in a relationship. If he would have been like, hey, yo, even if he told her afterwards, like, yo, I went to my ex's house because she wildin'. We're friends now. I don't even like her like that, but I went over there to help her out because we got history. If he would have told her that, she would not have responded like that. But it also wouldn't have been a movie. But in real life, like, y'all be transparent with people. Like, when you're not transparent with people, that's what I got from the movie. It's like, if you're not being completely transparent, it leaves room for error and misunderstandings. And people may not want to listen to you. Like, good thing she actually was open to listening to him because she loved him, but you could mess up a good thing by just not communicating.
Like I said, because of the time that was put in and because he distinguished himself from others, not to be lumped in the category that Clo has been alluding to, he should have been given the benefit of the doubt.
See, I think the part that you're missing is that you haven't dated a man before. And men can appear to be different than others.
Clo, this applies to both men and women.
Well, people. You said it earlier. People can appear to be different.
Chameleonaires, yes.
Yeah, and then you So I feel like if you've dealt with chameleonaire so many times and then a red flag appears, you're not going to ignore it at a certain point. You're just going to be like, oh, damn, I'm going to charge it to the game. Like, everyone's not going to be a winner. Every time's not going to be a winner. And times you think it's a winning situation, it really isn't sometimes.
Again, so when it comes to facts, I agree things should be black and white, but humans exist in the gray area. And that was a gray area moment on purpose. That was the purpose of the storyline. That was the purpose of the scene. And let's not forget, Clo, what were the words on his hoodie?
I don't remember.
Closure.
Yes, it said
message.
Closure. It did say closure. That was the name of the.
So you have to put everything in context and look at it all the way through. What is the director? What are the creators? What message are they trying to convey?
To have closure, because he never had closure with his ex. He left that door wide open. He told her, "It's not you. It's just I can't be in a relationship right now." Real closure would have been.
That was closure.
No. I think you're missing a point. What I'm saying. Initially, when he told her we should be friends, he should have been. That should have been the closure point. But he didn't close the door all the way because he left it open. He was like, "It's not you. It's me. I can't have a relationship right now." He was deflecting. And so at that point, he should have had closure. But he was like, I don't know. Just in case I want to go back, I'm going to leave this door open. And then he got into another situation and was like, damn. Like, he forgot to close that door. And so then it left him in a sticky situation.
Right. That's fair because that's the point of the story, right? Mm-hmm. But typically in those situations, if a guy isn't going to give closure, it's so he can do those things. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the purpose of Jabari's actions. So you have to isolate them in their entirety, in my opinion.
What do you mean his actions are going in there to help her?
Correct. It's not like he stayed to hang and bang.
But if he wasn't with the chick, if he never met this new chick, he would have went over there to say the rat and he would have hanged and banged.
Because again, he said they knew each other for over 10 years.
Okay.
And they were friends before lovers in the first place anyway.
That's what he said?
That's what they said. So this is what I'm saying. You got to put all the context together.
But she ain't had a context, and he should have let her in on the context.
Right, but he didn't for the purpose of
for the
drama and the story.
But if this is real life, you got to be real. You got to let people know.
Right, but again, to your point, even if he told her the truth then, he should have told her before, yes. But even if he told her the truth then, all of it, she still would react the same way.
Maybe not, because she seemed open when she.
Again, seemed is the key word.
She didn't do anything crazy.
And neither did he. So he's allowed, as the ladies would say, that grace. He again, the way he sets himself apart and distinguishes himself between every other dude in her world at that time, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. And that is irrefutable.
You don't get no benefit of the doubt when
when you speak like that,
had the benefit
emotional
of the doubt.
damage.
He had the benefit of the doubt until that picture came through.
No.
Yes, because you have to remember. Listen. She did not want to date anybody, and he was able to penetrate that barrier.
Pun absolutely intended.
Of trust. So then it's like, dang, like I wasn't gonna open this door for nobody. I opened it for you, and then I see this on your phone. Are you kidding me? Like, dang, I feel dumb. Like I shouldn't even. Like, dang, this crazy. Block. Over. But she wasn't even that dramatic, yo. She just was like, listen, I need my space.
And you've literally proved my point again, thank you, which is why a lot of women will be single. Because they have that mindset. They share that similar, let's say, reactive mindset, void of logic, and they get themselves in situations.
What would the logic be? Like, you keep saying he differentiated himself from others.
You saying he didn't?
Who knows? Because
according to you, if he was able to breach that barrier, he had to do something.
For a woman to be wowed, it doesn't take so much to do. Like, who's to say that her last man ain't do that same thing? And she fell head over heels, and that's why she's so damaged, because it's like, dag, I fell head over heels for you, and then you did me dirty like this. Like, that's where the trauma comes from. The trauma doesn't come from you dating somebody who off the bat is just some like jerk, and then you get the trauma. Like, that's a misconception.
Oh no, that's definitely not a misconception. That's actually, you're actually alluding to what happens the most in society, which is where ladies do not take accountability for their actions. So they will purposely, and guys do it too. Guys will do it for physical reasons. Girls will do it for emotional reasons. When we consciously ignore red flags. There were no red flags from Jabari.
Except for the fact that he had a girl on his phone.
One red flag.
That's enough.
No.
That's all it needs.
Again, benefit of the doubt.
Ain't no benefit. I ain't giving no benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt.
No. I think she reacted realistically. I don't think that she reacted like a character on a movie. Like, that was some real live, like, tag. And honestly, it probably would have been worse in real life. She might slash his tires or ruin his paintings or something, and she found some crazy stuff. Now, that's some stuff a crazy woman would do. I found her to be emotionally balanced, because she was just like, well, joke's on me, and kept moving with her life.
Yep, joke's on her,
and she was the fool. She wasn't a fool, because she ended up with the man.
She was the fool.
And she didn't even like, what's the word? She didn't even really hold a grudge against it. She just charged it to the game. Like, she still had him in her art gallery.
Yeah, because that was her best piece of artwork. Duh.
You think somebody cares about their best piece of artwork if I gotta have your face stand up there and I feel like you betrayed me? Yeah, well, right.
Definitely.
Gang. I'm ripping that junk up. I don't care. Do you have that sound? I don't care.
I got the sound for this.
You people are so petty.
Yup.
And tiny.
Yup. Ripping that. And I'm going to turn that into an art piece. I'm going to have a, what's it called? Interpretive art when they do stuff at the art gallery.
And again, as soon as he came in there, then it was back to the regular scheduled program.
Because they weren't in a relationship. Now, if he would have did that and they was in a relationship,
So like I said, if she wasn't foolish like Ashanti, they would have been together and it would have been fine.
I've been waiting.
Why you not let me press that? I want to press the button.
Not if you're interrupting me speaking. So it's not your mixing board. So you can keep your hands over there.
You see that? Go ahead.
Yeah, it wasn't even time to hit the button.
It was.
Duh.
I thought that was the. Let it please.
Nope.
Go ahead.
So as I was saying.
What you were saying?
A lot of ladies are going to end up single because they let foolish pride get in the way of something real.
A lot of women
something romantic.
A lot of women gonna end up single anyway because not enough men out here.
Oh, there definitely are. They just don't want them. So
no, they say if every woman had every man, it would still be women left over.
Right. That's because of mathematics.
Exactly. So.
Right, but you can still have more people getting together if they stop being foolish, which is the point.
I agree.
Thank you, Kid Cudi, for your magnificent message there. We appreciate it. First
of all, that movie was fire. Drop a bomb for me, please. That's not the right ball. I almost cried.
And I almost laughed.
Man.
That you cried for a cartoon movie.
It's so romantic.
And so unrealistic.
I was like, gosh. I was like, give me a hug right now.
Yeah, Kid Cudi knew what he was doing.
He did. He had that. I'm going to give him a 10 for that one. Drop a bomb on Kid Cudi. Real talk, y'all need to go watch that movie. Like, it's a great movie if you want your girl to be like, you cook a dinner.
It's Harry Met Sally and mixing with the Into the Spider-Verse.
I don't think I ever seen Harry Met Sally. Can we watch that?
No, but let's say it's a storytelling format where you know, you have the whole meet cute, that whole terminology, that serendipitous meet and sparks fly, yada yada yada.
I'm ready
Love at first sight, all that nonsense.
It was. It's a such thing as love at first sight.
I mean, I can understand why ladies would think that. There is lust at first sight, but love at first sight.
Same thing.
Oh no, it is not.
Oh yes, it is
The same thing at all.
That's how love starts, with lust. You can't have love without lust.
It starts, but the whole concept of love at first sight, no.
It exists.
Now you can have that with, I think, material things, but that's only temporary. It's not long term, and love is long term.
First you have lust. First comes lust, then comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby and the baby carriage.
If that were the case, there'd be more couples married today. But it is not, sadly. Therefore,
well, we have to each do our part to change that. So make sure you get married.
Which is why we have shows like this discussing these type of topics. And speaking of, as we wrap up the show, Chloe, you want to give your 30 by 30 challenge update?
So today is day 19 of my 30 by 30. By the time this drops, it'll be day 21.
21 Savage.
21. But it's day 19. I would like to say I'm very proud of myself this far. Something that I was intentional about, am intentional about. Like I said, I'm always say this is about being consistent. Like I haven't really stood on the scale really. Like I stood on the scale. I've been the same weight. Which is good because, you know, Thanksgiving was lit. But I'm not really worried about my weight. I'm worried about consistency. Like my goal is to get into the gym every day for 30 minutes. I'm going to say 2 days ago, I found out about, well, Sophia told me about this a long time ago. Shout out to Sophia. But I just kept getting the numbers wrong. It's called the 12-3-30 challenge. So this woman, her name is, let me get this information before I do it all wrong. But this woman, she's a vlogger. And she did the 12-3-30 challenge. Lauren Geraldo. So Sophia told me about this challenge, I want to say a couple months ago. I didn't think much of it. But typically you do 30 minutes on the treadmill at an incline of 12 for the at a speed of 3. It's a workout, y'all. Like my lower back has been hurting, my legs, my calves, and it makes me feel good because it's working. Like I could feel my body tightening up. I could feel my body, my muscles toning. And apparently when you're walking, you're not supposed to hold on to the bars. So my personal goal, I've only been doing this for 3 days. Today was my second day doing it, or my third day doing it. And my goal is by the end of this challenge is I don't want to have to hold on to the treadmill because it's really difficult to not hold on. So right now I've been doing maybe like 70% holding on, 30% not holding on. My goal by the end of this challenge is to be able to complete a 30 minutes without holding on, which is challenging. But you know, you see what your body can do. You just push your body a little bit more every day. I think every day it is getting easier. I love 30 minutes because 30 minutes goes by so fast. And initially I was just walking on the treadmill and I was like, oh, maybe I'll speed it up today. Maybe I'll slow it down today. Maybe I'll put the incline up. Maybe I'll put it down. But when I found this 12-3-30 challenge and implemented it, I'm like, yo, if I do this every day for 30 days, like I'm going to see a change. Coupled with the fact that I'm eating healthier. We've been making salads every day. I actually bought these containers, those plastic containers that are disposable on Amazon. Got a 50-pack. So I could bring them to lunch with me every day and I have to wash dishes. Just throw it out on my way home. And it kind of makes me feel like I'm eating a salad from like, what's my favorite place? Not Salad Works. It's called The Art of Salad. Oh my God, it's so good. So what I did was last time I went and got a salad, it was like $20, y'all, for a salad. Like, how you pay $20 for some lettuce or some spinach and like a couple of toppings? So I just looked at all the toppings on the menu and I was like, oh, I'm about to just stock the fridge with this stuff and I'm gonna make our own salads. And that's what we just been doing. Like, I love it. I actually just made some grilled shrimp for dinner because we didn't eat. It was a rough day. I found out some really bad news today, but we gonna keep it going. But I didn't eat dinner. I ate some chips. I probably ate like 20 chips, about 3 croutons, and 1 lemon cookie. Cause I don't feel like eating. But yeah, it's been a rough day, or night actually. And with that being said, I was like, I'm gonna just cook dinner for tomorrow or lunch for tomorrow. So I made some shrimp and I put it in a salad with some Parmesan cheese and some croutons and balsamic vinegar and Orvadaya onion sauce. Oh my God, that dressing is bomb. But yeah, so I don't know. How's your challenge going?
Yeah, that's great. That's great progress. Keep it up, Clo. And I would have to agree with what she said about the 30 minutes because typically, and when she first started doing it, she was going over the 30 minutes in the first place. And I find myself doing the same thing. I do a combination of cardio on the bike, on the stationary bike, body weight exercises like push-ups, squats, also pull-ups as well, and just other ranges of bodyweight exercises that I find on YouTube, and also yoga as well. And I find that that's cool. But I guess for this challenge, my goal was to more focus on the habit building as I've been saying. So from that aspect, it's been great for me to work more on the business stuff. So the majority of my website is complete, which is great. And then just have to create the lead generator in a PDF form, but that'll be cool. And then set up the email list, and that'll be cool. So that's like step by step by step. And then, because my goal with the looming recession that's slated to come next year in 2023, so make sure you guys save up for that. Maybe not splurge on too much Christmas gifts this year, and save up just in case. And I because typically during a recession, that's when the majority of new millionaires are typically made. They essentially solve a problem during that time. So I'm not trying to sound glib or anything as like benefiting off of people's strife. But typically, that's the type of pressure that does make diamonds. And then you're also be able to help a lot of people at the same time and impact people that way. So it's just having a different perspective instead of, riding the wave or, being victim to, let's say, being overtaken by a wave. You actually get to surf it, right? You essentially, you create the surfboard or you create the boat so then the wave doesn't impact you. When you're on a boat, then you can invite other people on the boat who could drown. That's how I see it in terms of recession.
So I saw this post. I'm trying to actually find it. It says do these 6 things. Is it on this phone? It's like do these 6 or 8 things and in the next 6 months and you'll see like a complete difference.
All right, Clo, we're gonna wrap it up here. If Clo finds it, we'll splash it on the screen here so y'all can see it. But I think you guys have seen similar posts. I mean, it sounds like it was a post that was taken from someone else. But that, again, that's IG. The way I see it as a content creator, if it's a positive message, you're also resharing the positive message for other people to be inspired. Mm-hmm. Someone like Clo was inspired. That's great. And hopefully it'll inspire someone like you. So with that in mind, we're going to say goodbye here until next time. And thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because when you like our video, That's the main metric that lets YouTube know that our content is enjoyable. Also, if you're listening to us on either Apple, via Apple or Spotify or wherever you like to listen to podcasts, do us a favor and give us a 5-star review, because that also lets the App Store know, or let's say the podcast platforms know, that you also find this enjoyable as well. This help a content creator out. We appreciate it.
Yes, because we definitely have goals of reaching at least 100 subscribers soon.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, have a good day, guys, and talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for joining.